Hello, everybody.
Hello. How are you today, sir?
That was a very tentative hello. I am doing well. It's been a few days since I've been live, and I feel like completely out of practice. I also feel like my camera has rebelled against me because I currently have my ring light off because apparently it's too bright. But things have shifted and changed, and that might be throwing things off. So I just have to figure it
That's okay. And
out.
I love that you're blurry or that I need to put my glasses on.
No, it's me. It's my service. It's the internet. It doesn't like me right now.
That's okay.
I am working on fixing that with Amazon Nest Mesh, whatever, and hopefully I can get that fixed sooner rather than later. But up until we really launch other things next year, I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
Well, I just have to say thank you for wearing purple. You can't really tell my shirt's purple
Of course.
since I have my lights darkened. And for those that don't know, my mother's favorite color was purple. She told everybody she had purple blood because she went to Port Neches High School and they're the Indians. So I even pulled out her wine glass out of my wine cabinet that I don't know how old I was, but my handwriting was not great when I made this cup for her.
I mean, you're also writing on a bulbous glass, so I mean, I was bragging to my parents who are now here about who made the wreath that's downstairs with Buzz and Woody and stuff, and that it was you. And so you are queen of the crafts. I would say that's probably much better than I could do now. So,
I mean, I even thought it was cool to bedazzle it. You can't really see the bedazzling, but it's been bedazzled. So I will
Linda
have to
and Angie both said that's a mega pint.
I won't fill it up all the way. I also have to say it was great talking to the little Bruce yesterday, and the little one who goes, "How old are you?" And I could hear you in the background just going, "Stop it! You don't ask that question.
Don't ask that question." He's 4. I guess if you can get away with it right now, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, ask if you can. JT, I'm trying to send you a text. It's just for my knowledge. I know we're live, and this is a dumb question. Our guest cannot hear in the background. Is that supposed to be the way it works right now?
Say that one more time.
They cannot hear. Oh, they can hear now. Never mind. It was me. Guest. It's just me.
Oh, okay.
It's just me. Guys, it has been a day. Let's just get it on out there and say it's been a day. I've been running behind all day. Some things happened that popped up and I needed to jump in and handle, and a little behind today. So I appreciate everybody being patient with being a little off today. But I did open a bottle of wine, and I cannot even pronounce it. Is that good or bad? Flores.
I don't know. Is it
Flores de Prairie? I don't know. It's rosé.
Flores de Prairie.
Yeah, I bought it because the bottle was pretty. It's like embellished, so you can keep it and make a vase out of it.
I just want to say we've got folks watching on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, obviously. So hello to all of you. We appreciate you being here tonight. I think if there was any night to be with us, this is the one.
And we're on Twitter too?
Yes. Yeah. I think I threw us on my Twitter account.
Oh, okay. So. I didn't know we could do that. This is why you do mission control.
It's just, I like fiddling around and trying new things.
Okay, somebody said that's a large bottle of wine. It's not. It's a regular size bottle. It just, I think, looks big. It's truly just a regular size bottle. And no, I'm not going to put a straw in it or anything. Okay. So, no, I want to thank everybody up front for joining us. And I'm going to just get this out of the way and say this because I want everybody to know this will be the first time I do a live stream of this type of interview. And I want to tell everybody because we have chat. If you chat anything that is disrespectful or insensitive, your comment will be hidden. If you do it a second time, your comments will be blocked. I have zero patience or tolerance for anyone being disrespectful to the parents of Chase Lackey or to JT and I. JT and I can probably handle a little better, but I'm not going to allow it to happen. So I just want to tell everybody up front, you will get your comments hidden. You will get blocked. And if you try to do anything else, I will find a way to block you from this channel. So, not trying to be a capital B, but I'm just telling y'all up front, I got no tolerance today. So, I'll get off my soapbox, JT.
I think that's a safe soapbox to be on, though. I'm certainly not going to push you off of it. I'll let you keep going if you want.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they came here to hear. I don't think that's what they came here. Oh, it looks like we actually have another family member. It looks like one of Chase's sisters in the room. So now I'm going to really get emotional. The other thing, I'm going to just also warn everybody, I've been emotional all day. My mama bear passed away 5 years ago today. That's why we're wearing purple. This case and doing this special investigation has made me more emotional than I ever thought I could be on something we worked on. I've said it in a couple of my social media videos. I have found myself crying when I go to sleep because I just can't imagine what these amazing people have been through and how they're surviving and still living life every day. So I want to, before we get started, just to say thank you to everybody who has been so kind, has shared our messages and have shared our posts. People, JT, tell them our notifications are going crazy, aren't they? With people messaging us directly.
I like, it's one of those good problems to have. It's something that I don't want to complain about because yes, ding, 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 ding. But the reality is that means involvement. That means interaction, and not interaction for the sake of interaction, but interaction in the way that people are paying attention. And that's what we need. So,
like I said, I love it. I never thought I would be like, oh my God, my phone is going to die. It's going off so much. I had to learn what battery saver was on a cell phone. Luckily, my monkey butt showed me how you go and you put it so that you're like on a certain mode so that your battery lasts longer. It took a 10-year-old to teach me that. So are we ready to get started, Mr. JT?
Sure, absolutely. Would you like to do a lovely introduction?
We can. So tonight we have Chase's mom, Debbie, and Chase's dad, Craig, who are joining us live. I know Craig has done some other live interviews like this. I'm not sure it was live or if it was recorded. I just know I watched it. It was about 2 hours. But Debbie, I think this is her first time doing this in a live setting. So I want to say thank you to both of you for agreeing to do this because I can't imagine that it's easy. And I know it's something that you never planned or wanted to do in your life was to have to come on and have this kind of conversation. So I want to say thank you foremost and upfront for everything.
Now, I just want to say thank y'all for doing what y'all are doing. Like you said, this isn't my first podcast that I've done or what have you, but the outpouring of love and support from literally thousands of people that I have never met, that don't know Seth or don't know Chase, and all the love and prayers that have continuously poured in on his page has literally blown me away. I mean, I've got people in Canada, people in Australia sharing this. I mean, that just literally worldwide is just amazing to me. You
I
watch the news, you hear about all the murder and mayhem and all the bad people, but people, trust me, there are plenty of good people in this world. I'm staring at two of them right now on my screen. They took this on because somebody said, "Hey, why don't you look into this?" And they have literally moved mountains. Mountains. My heartfelt thanks will never be enough for what Terry and JT have done in a matter of months that has not been done in 6 years plus now. So, like I said, don't thank us for being here. Thank y'all for what y'all are doing.
no, and I'll be honest, JT and I were talking yesterday, and we talked about when we originally agreed that we were going to do this. We really thought we'd give an update every couple of months. Guys, we are blown away at how many people have jumped in and become invested. And I'm I'm truly shocked by the love, the respect. I mean, like I said, there's been a couple of what I call Karens out there, but that's not even like 0.05%. And I'm just still trying to think of the right word. It's made me appreciate the human race a little bit more, because there's a lot of
Absolutely.
times you get to where you're like, you know what, people just suck. And I don't like people. I'm going to just go hang out with my dog. But since we started even looking into this back in June, um, I'm floored by how kind people have been. And it truly, if I can only imagine, if it's heartwarming to me, it's got to be tenfold for you guys.
Like I said,
Mhm.
it's blown me away. I mean, a Facebook friend, somebody that I didn't know at the time, but her name is Jill Simmons Maccabee. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, Jill, if you're watching tonight. But she suggested and asked if I wanted her to set up a page for Chase. Like, as y'all know tonight, I'm not computer savvy, so doing all that kind of stuff on Facebook, I was like, yeah, go for it, because I have no clue how to do that. She did it out of the goodness of her heart. She reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to set that page up, and I said, absolutely. She said, I'll put all your family members as, administrators, moderators, whatever, and I'll take myself off after I get it set up. And that's how his page came about. Somebody that I had never met, lives totally halfway across the country from me, and we were Facebook friends, and she heard about it and reached out, and that's how all this started.
Wow, I did not know that story. I just assumed, and we know what assuming does. And obviously, I'm living proof, because I just assumed you did, or that maybe one of your kids did. So that is, I mean, because your kids are, you've got some that are in that realm that probably know social media pretty good. And then you've got some younger ones.
Right.
But I will say, before we get too far into this, I wanted to first ask you, Debbie, how are you doing? Because I know this has got to be gut wrenching and hard. So, how are you doing?
It's hard. Just whenever we do stuff like this, it takes me right back to that day. So
And
I can't thank y'all enough as well. I mean, everything Craig said, I mean, things that were not done in 6.5 years, y'all have done in 3 months that it's just overwhelmed us. So we can't thank y'all enough. Thank everybody.
I mean, I can tell you, JT and I don't need any thanks. I mean, I thank everybody who's sharing it. We signed up for this, you know. I'm glad we did. I mean, like I said, it's way more than I thought it was going to be, and I'm glad. So now, Craig, how are you doing? Because like I said, I know you've done these before, but how are you doing?
This time it's different.
What makes it different, if I can ask?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I think
No,
it's
that's
maybe
okay.
the connections that you have growing up in the area where he went missing, having connections to Crosby, and I think you may have mentioned that Champ was the straw that broke the camel's back and said, "I'm doing this case." I've not
Like
been
I
this
said,
emotional throughout the last 6.5 years, and like I said, I cannot thank y'all enough for what y'all are doing. The whole team, not just you and JT, but the investigators, the researchers. I mean, y'all have literally poured your heart and soul into this. And thank you just sounds so insignificant for what y'all are doing for us.
oh, and I get
Well,
it. And like
I certainly appreciate that a lot. Oh, go ahead, Terry. Do you want to?
No,
You
I was
good?
just going to comment. I don't want anybody to think that I'm a horrible person, that it was the dog that drugged me in. But like I said, people suck. I like the dogs because they don't yell at me. They don't talk back to me. They don't steal my
No,
wine.
that was not a negative. Trust me.
Oh, I
Like I
know it
said,
wasn't to you.
that was not a negative. But
Um,
like I said, you just had
so
so many connections to it and all. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, JT. Go ahead.
That's okay.
no, you butt in whenever you want to.
Well, I'm going to butt in,
I was just
JT.
wondering.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to walk on you and butt in for just real quick. I'm sorry. I know I told you to jump in. I want to share because I haven't even told you, JT, and I was waiting for tonight, and I meant to do it earlier. So we decided to do this, and Craig's aware. Debbie, I don't even think you and I have had the chance for me to tell you the number of people who've reached out to me that I grew up with or that I know from growing up in North Shore and hanging out in Crosby that knew Chase or your family to find out that Mama Bear, my brother had all these friends. He played all the sports, baseball. I want to say there was 12 sons. There was like son 1, 2, 3, all the way up. And I think Jamie was son number 8. He reached out to me and he goes, "Hey, I helped, I think he was a batting coach or something with Chase when he was younger." And I was like, holy Toledos, how are these connections keep happening? So I was worried about doing something so close to home. I'll be honest. I was like, ooh, this could get really ugly real quick. And guys, it hasn't. There's been no ugly. It has all been nothing but love. And I've had people that I haven't talked to since I left home and grew up that have reached out and I've reconnected with. So I have to say thank you to you guys for that. It's not the way I wanted to reconnect with some old friends that I grew up with, but it's happened. And I'm forever going to be thankful for that.
Good.
So I wanted to let you guys know that.
I'm sorry, Debbie. She's referring to the Diamondbacks.
Oh, okay.
That's the Jamie she's referring to.
Okay.
He had 2 boys on that team, and
Yep.
he reached out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I mean, and it was great because he also told me, he goes, "Just so you know, your mama bear would be proud."
Oh.
And I was like, okay, there we go. Let's just make me emotional all over again, people. Come on. So now, JT, I'm going to let you talk for a while and I'm going to drink. And I'm not double
Well,
fisting.
and
This is
along
water. This is water.
Um, next thing I
Oh,
know,
this
you're gonna
was
duct tape
water,
them to your
but never
hand.
mind.
Yeah. You know, a lot of our folks, they don't necessarily know a lot about Chase, and so I was wondering if this is a question for either of you, if you could just kind of explain, like, or talk about him in terms of what he was like growing up. You know, what were some of his likes, dislikes, any stories that stick out about Chase, some stuff that we can kind of connect with in any way, shape, or form.
Go ahead, Debbie.
I have a funny story. The girls reminded me of it today. His birthday, of course, every other year falls on Thanksgiving. So we were running behind on getting to my parents' house. And of course, we always brought his birthday cake. And I said, well, we're going to stop and you're going to pick out a cake. Well, he was taking forever and just being his goofy self because it just wasn't being serious. I'm like, Chase, people are waiting on us. Come on. I'm like, look, there's a carrot cake. Everybody likes carrot cake. He goes, I don't want a carrot cake. And I was like, pick a cake. And he sat there. And again, y'all, he was hee-hawing around. The girls were like, come on, Chase. I said, get the carrot cake and let's go. So we finally get to my mom's house and he was just like, I hope everybody enjoys my carrot cake. He goes, because that's not the cake I wanted. I wanted cookies and cream. So every year for his birthday, we always have a form of a carrot cake. Even when he's like, he goes, oh, there's my carrot cake. And even since he's passed, oh gosh, I can't even believe I said that. Since he's been gone and we've had his parties and stuff, had some gatherings for him. The girls, Stephanie sat there and brought a carrot. She goes, we got to have the carrot cake. And so we still even have the carrot cake for him and going, Chase, this is for you. So.
Okay, well, we're going to have to do carrot cake for the vigil when we announce that we're going to be meeting up the Saturday before his birthday.
Yes.
We're going to have to do some carrot cake. Maybe we'll reach out to bakery and get some carrot cake cupcakes because we're going to need to make sure he has his carrot cake.
Yes.
We got people posting carrots and cake.
I bet you people who are in other countries probably are going, what the heck is a carrot cake? Because I got to tell you,
Lisa.
I never had a carrot cake until I met HH.
Oh, gosh, they're good.
Oh,
I was like, why would you put carrots in a cake?
Cake.
What is wrong with you people?
Why would you ruin a cake?
Do you have any stories?
If you put carrots in it, it counts as a salad, so you can eat all you want.
Oh, I like that.
Huh?
I like that. So do you have a story for us, Craig?
Absolutely. My parents had a lake house in Lake Livingston, and they entrusted me to remodel it for them. And from time to time, I would take Chase up there with me. So we were working probably around like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, boy, I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry. I said, you want to get something to eat? And he's like, sure. So we go into downtown Livingston, find the Taco Bell open. I said, what do you want? He said, give me 8 tacos. I was like, what? He said, give me 8 tacos. I said, all right. Give him 8 tacos, and I got a burrito and a couple of tacos or whatever. And we walked out. I said, you know what you ought to do? I said, you ought to walk back in there and cram a taco in your mouth. And it's like, you only getting living, you know. And we laughed all the way back to the house. And it was, I mean, we could not literally stop laughing. We laughed and laughed and laughed. And we had a family gathering up there. I think it was Christmas time. And my oldest brother, he said, Chase, he says, do you just laugh at everything? He said, no, I don't. He goes, yeah, you do. He said, no, I don't. And my brother says, donut. And Chase just busted out laughing over donut, you know. And that was him. He was always laughing, always smiling. And that was a quintessential essence of him. He come up with some of the goofiest off the wall thoughts that was like, how would you think of this? Why did you think of this? You know, am I wrong?
No, you're not.
I mean,
Did he get in trouble in school? Because I just have to tell you, because I know one of your daughters is a teacher. I bet when she gets that one kid in class, she's like, okay, now I know what my mom went through. Could you just stop being funny, please? Could you just stop?
Now that you mention that, I got to tell you, this is my last funny story of him. His junior year, he was running for most humorous. And of course, he didn't win first. So he didn't win. So he got second place in it. He was so disappointed. His senior year, he said, Mom, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get an award for this. I'm like, so you're winning an award for disrupting class. That just doesn't sound like a good thing to me, you know. Well, needless to say, senior year, he got an award. Of course, he was like, so Mom, are you going to miss work to come and watch me, you know, get this award? I said, of course, then the other girls have gotten perfect attendance, perfect, you know, all A's and so forth. But he is so proud of this most humorous in his senior year. And needless to say, of course, I'm going to say now, I feel bad. I did not go because I'm like, so I'm going to sit there and watch my son, this disrupted class, get up there and get an award for it. I'm sorry. I just couldn't see myself doing it. But he was so proud of that he got most humorous. So in his senior year. So, there's one of his teachers.
Well, I'll say this. Margaret says that she taught him and he was a joy. So.
Well, he's probably a funny joy, probably, is what she really wants to say.
I mean, funny's not a bad thing.
No, it's not bad, but it's not bad. He's had to run a lot with the coaches because the teachers call me and I'm like, make him run, send him to his coach. I don't know what to tell him. What am I supposed to tell him? Stop laughing? You know. Oh, everybody's being so.
Yeah, I'd love our crew. Our crew is like, you know, if I mention throw some hearts in the chat, they truly, you know, they truly want to help and they love the fact that you guys are here. So I'm glad that you're here and you know, here come the hearts. They're coming. They're on their way. All right. Terry, you wanna continue on?
Maybe you jump in.
I've had people tell me, you know, so I don't know how to ask or what to say or should I say. I said, ask me whatever question you want to ask. If I know the answer, I'll tell you. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. I said, I'm appreciative of the fact that you're asking about him. So you're not going to upset me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I love the fact that you're asking about him. And I tell everybody that. And my mom has told me literally thousands of times, you know, I just don't see how you're holding up as well as you are. And I was like, what choice do I have? You know, I mean, it is what it is. This is where we are. I can't dwell on it. You know, I've got to keep on. And
Yeah,
sugar cookies.
Nickname was Sugar Cookie.
I'm just going to have to say, I'm not sure a kid would love that, but I love it. So I love it. Now, before we get into a lot of stuff, I do want to ask, so everybody that I've had the pleasure to speak to has told me what a great person Chase was, that he would literally give you the shirt off of his back, even if he didn't have another one to put on.
Absolutely.
And I think
because he wanted to show off his abs.
Oh, was that what it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, he was a good looking guy. I mean, I'm not going to lie and, you know, say he's not. In fact, my neighbor was over here earlier and I have a board where I've got a picture of Chase and people I'm interested in talking to. And I have a board, right? And she goes, he's kind of cute, isn't he? And I'm like, he is. And I feel very dirty thinking that because of the age, but he was an attractive guy and he wasn't apparently scared to show it off. Because I guess he did some bodybuilding there for a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So he definitely wasn't shy about showing off those abs.
He wasn't.
But I have to ask, and he was also a very skinny guy when he was younger. Did he eat you guys out of house and home?
He ate a
Oh
lot.
my God, yes.
He ate a lot, but he was always on the go. He was always moving. He was not one to just sit there for hours and, play on his Xbox. He was out there riding his bike, his skateboard. Or playing softball.
Playing baseball.
Always doing something. Always.
Well, and you say baseball. How did he go from baseball into, because if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I do because I'm a little emotional, he was playing in a softball league.
Right.
Around the time that he disappeared. How did he go from baseball to softball? Because I'll be honest, I'm not that intelligent when it comes to baseball and softball. And the softball much bigger, because I played softball for a couple of years, wasn't good at it. I didn't think guys played softball.
Oh yeah, softball's big time.
It's a co-ed league too, so that's for the girls and the guys.
Okay, so he did that after high school.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, was it a traveling league? Was it just their local? Because I know somebody mentioned
it was primarily local.
Okay.
They did have some guys that wanted to go play in a tournament out of state, and they got a group of people together, and they asked Chase to join them, and he jumped at the chance, and he said, "Yeah, I want to go win a ring," and they did, and he went to New Mexico, I believe it was, and played in New Mexico, and they won the championship. And like I said, it was something he always wanted to do, was win a ring. Every year since he was 4 years old, when he started playing t-ball, the league champion had a banner put up at the field with all the kids' names on it, all the coaches, this, that, and the other. And he had his name on every field in Crosby at one time. From t-ball to, what was it, majors?
Yeah, majors.
Wasn't it majors? The biggest league they had, or Pony or Colt or whatever.
Majors.
But like I said, he had his name on every field at that Crosby complex.
So y'all spend a lot of time at the baseball and softball fields, it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
And the summers, because he'd make all-stars.
Yeah, every year.
Every year.
Except maybe the first year.
Well, I'm just going to tell your daughters that I'm sorry for them, because my brother did all of those same things. And let me tell you, summer was all about him.
It was.
When he made all-stars. And I was like, hey, what about me? How about you? What about me? I mean, I got to go to the games.
Another funny story. My parents at the time were living in Colorado, and I would call Mom at night and give her an update on, how he did and how the team was doing and everything. And apparently I was rather animated about it, according to her, because she says, "We need to go to Texas." Dad says, "What?" She said, "We need to go to Texas." He goes, "For what?" He goes, "Chase is playing a championship game tomorrow, and we need to be there." He says, "That's 1,200 miles." She says, "Yeah." He says, "We can't make it there in time." She said, "Yeah, we can." She says, "I can go up there and throw some clothes in a suitcase right quick, and we'll jump in the car, and you drive to get tired, and then, I'll sleep, and then I'll drive, and you sleep, and, we'll switch off. We can get there." And Debbie, I'm sure you remember this, but my mom and dad got there before we got to the park, and they parked way away from us and was watching for us to come in. Game was fixing to start, and they come walking up, and my mom leaned over and said, "Excuse me, are these seats taken?" I didn't even recognize my own mother. I was so blown away. I just talked to you, 15, 20, 12, 15 hours ago. And now here you are walking up to the baseball field to watch him play baseball. This was a T-ball game, a T-ball championship game. They
T-ball,
drove.
Isn't T-ball like the little bitty guys, and it's the ball sitting on the? Okay, I just neither one of my kids played.
He was 5 years old.
5 years old. But
Wow. That's some dedication.
absolutely, absolutely.
That and guys, nobody panic. I didn't fire JT or kick him off. He'll be
He's
right
done.
back. He's done. He's out of here. He's like, Terry, you are just over the top today. Can't do it. So did I have to ask, was he interested in sports from like day one? Because my brother was 18 months older than me, but I have to tell you, I don't ever remember him not having a baseball, basketball, or football in his hands. It
Yeah.
Every memory I have of him as a child, he had something. So my thought is they're just born with a ball in their hands if they're going to be that way.
He had, from the day he was born, he had large, or I'll say not large, but long fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he's going to be able to grip a ball. He's going to be able to, pitch, throw a ball, and this, that, and the other. But from a very young age, he was throwing balls in the house, accurate. I mean, he wasn't knocking stuff over and breaking things. He was accurate. I mean,
Does
he
he know you
threw.
don't throw balls in the house? I'm sure, Debbie, you
Chase
told
didn't
him.
follow rules all the time.
Okay. Like,
He was not a
did he
rule
not?
follower.
I was like,
Not all
did you
the
not tell
time.
him? Don't throw the
I
balls
said,
in the house.
it was fine because he didn't hit things. He was throwing to the target, whatever it was, at his sisters or throwing it to me or whatever. He hit the target, plain and simple. He didn't ever break anything or knock a lamp over or break a picture frame. It was, he had just
That,
unbelievable
that's
control
simply a
from
moving
day
target.
one.
I know, I'm like
Not
moving
a
target
problem.
of sisters.
Whatever was
Huh?
moving.
How did they feel about being the target? Hopefully he didn't throw them
They
hard,
weren't
right?
too happy about it, but they got
They
over
dealt
it.
with it.
They dealt with it. Oh my gosh. Now, tell us about June 30th, 2017, because the date of the softball game. Were you both there that night or just Craig?
Craig was
Just
there,
Craig.
and I believe Heather was there
Heather.
with her husband at the time.
Yeah.
So, Craig, tell us about that.
He called me and says, "Hey, if you're gonna be around, I've got softball game there at the sports complex. You want to come out and watch?" And I didn't have any plans. I said, "Yeah, I'll come up there and check it out." And he was doing what he loved. I mean, he was out there playing ball, competing, and had a great game. And it was a double header, and I couldn't stay for the second game. I said, "All right, boy." I said, I'd love to stay for the second game, but I gotta get home and I gotta get ready for work tomorrow. And he gave me one of his patented big bear hugs, and said, "I love you, Pop." And that was the last time I've seen or heard him from that day. But he seemed normal. I mean, like I said, he was out there playing the game and giving it his all, and didn't seem like he had a care in the world as far as what was bubbling under the surface, which obviously we had no idea about and didn't find out about until after all this nightmare started. But he was running like a gazelle, like he always did, and was hit a ball and just scoot around the bases, and that's the typical Chase baseball game. He, like I said, everything seemed fine to me. Uh, didn't have any qualms about anything. Whenever I left that night, we said our goodbye. He told me he loved me, and that was it. But I'm just so
I'm
glad that I went up there that night, because who knew that was gonna be the last time I saw him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure, I, I'm sure you've played that night over and over in your mind, and I don't want to make you have to do it again, really.
No, it's
And you
like I
kind of
said, it does not bother me to talk about it. Any of this, like I said, I'm appreciative of people asking about him and keeping his name out there and keeping this investigation going and getting answers and all that. So I've got no problem at all. Ask me anything you want to ask, and like I said, if I know the answer, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll tell you that as well. But like I said, you're not going to upset me or bring
okay.
back horrible memories or this, that, and the other. Like I said, we're in this situation because he made bad choices. I talked loud, blue in the face to him about this kind of stuff. He chose to ignore it, so here we are. Some people may be watching. It's like, wow, that's really cold hearted. His dad saying that. No, I'm a realist. I don't sugarcoat things. Debbie can tell you for the number of years that we were married, I'm blunt. I tell it the way it is. You don't like it, I'm sorry, but if you don't want the answer, don't ask me the question because I'm going to give you my answer, from the heart, and you don't think you can handle it, then don't ask it. But like I said, this whole situation to me has been just matter of fact. He made bad choices. This is where we are. I can't go back and change his choices. I can't change anything about it. So, you know, that's
Well,
basically the bottom
and
line.
that's definitely and that's you were mentioning choices and things, and I know that that's a layer, right, that just kind of rests on top of this. And I was, I'm wondering if you would be comfortable, either you or Debbie, talking about kind of some of those things that, because you had mentioned that you didn't know much about this until afterwards.
I didn't know about
And
any
so
of
I'm
it till
wondering if,
afterward.
Yeah, we didn't know anything.
yeah, I'm
Oh,
wondering if you would be okay with kind of talking about some of those things that you discovered.
Sure.
Well, and before we do that, just to kind of keep it in frame, do we want to first talk about what caused you first to suspect something wasn't right and that he was missing? Because I think that'll kind of lead us
yeah.
Yeah,
into
that's
all
good.
of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
If y'all excuse me just a minute, I'm going to leave the frame for just a minute. I'll be right
okay.
back.
Yeah, it was
Um,
me that sat there and was texting him. Matter of fact, because I mean, I've changed phones several times since he's been gone, and I've made sure that I go to the AT&T store for them to do it, so I have all of his text messages. That is crucial to me because I go back and look at it all the time. So, but I have been texting him because he said he was going to be working in California, but he hadn't done his taxes yet. Me staying on his butt saying, get your taxes done, get your taxes done before you go. He had asked me, Mom, how do you feel about me going and working in California? I said, son, you don't have any children, you're not married, go and enjoy it, go and, he goes, yeah, but won't you miss me? I said, I'll go see you and you can come home and see me. So he was telling me he was doing the drug test and getting ready for all that is what he was telling me. And the dates on that was like June. I wrote them down. I had asked him on the 30th. Well, let's see. It was the 26th is when we started. I talked to him the 25th, the 26th, the 27th. He had said he got in from a football game a baseball game from Amarillo or softball game from Amarillo. And it got in really late. And I said, well, how'd you go to work the next day? He goes, it was hard, but I did it. And then he sat there and I texted him again on the 29th. And then I asked him on the 30th, I said, hey, text me when you're on your way to work. Cause I always left the house at 5:00, 5:30, and he had to be to work at 6. So he would sometimes call me in the morning. Well, he didn't call me that day. And so I texted him back and said, hey, did you handle the IRS stuff? I did that and I got nothing. That was on the 1st. On the 2nd, I sent him a message and said, I tried calling you and you still haven't called me back. And then on the 4th, I texted him and said, call me, damn it. I'm freaking out. And that's whenever I asked the girls, I said, hey, has anybody talked to your brother? And they said no. And so I put it on Facebook and said, has anybody seen or talked to Chase lately? And I believe that some of his softball buddies that played with Heather's husband at the time, they all kind of got together and said, hey, I know where he's got a spare key. Let's go over there. So they all went ahead and went over there. And my other daughter, Stephanie, went and joined them. I live in Rosenberg, so I was an hour and 15 minutes away when they were all like 20 and 30 minutes away. So they went, and that's when they got into the sliding glass door, and they went into the place. And like I said, that's when we discovered he wasn't there. Truck was there, wallet, everything had been there. So that's when that started happening. Some of the friends that were there were really good friends of his, and I believe you've talked to him, Terry Brandon, and his wife at the time was Erica. And they saw him all the time, and they said, we thought y'all knew, what he was doing. And they said he hasn't done iron work. He hadn't worked since January. And we're like, I said, he just told me he was working just the other day. And they're like, no, he wasn't. So they said he's been going back and forth to California and doing this stuff. And he said he kept saying that heat was coming and that he was looking over his shoulder. Somebody had told me that at the baseball game, they asked him if he was going to get in the next league. And he said, no, I'm going to have to skip it because I got some stuff going on that I need to take care of. And Craig said he didn't remember him saying that, but I remember them telling me that. And then I had tried to go in and file a missing person report. I told Craig, what all we found and blah, blah, blah. And I went to the police department to file a missing persons report because none of us could get a hold of him. And they said, it's best to just put it on Facebook. You'll get a quicker response just putting it on Facebook. So that's when we went and said, hey, if anybody's talked to him, I'm really getting concerned. Not that I had that bad gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach that something was bad, but just the fact he had not gotten with me in almost 4 or 5 days. And I'm going to say, has he done it before? He's done it for 2 or 3 where he's like, Mom, I lost my phone. My gosh, or it got ran over by somebody's tire because I'd put it on the trunk, or my phone died. So it was typical stuff that he would do, but he's never gone this long without, calling me, and especially me saying, I'm freaking out. I need you to call me. He would have definitely called me or something like that, or text me back and said, hey, I'm good. More or less leave me alone. I'm busy. But so that was the moment. Well, I did the Facebook deal. I told Craig what the police department said. And of course he was like, BS. We're filing a missing persons report. So he went up there again the next day. I went to the apartments at that time and said, I need to get in. And she said, well, we're only going to let you in because you're, his emergency contact. So she let me in, and, they had already told me things that they had found in the apartment and stuff, but she let me in to walk around because I hadn't been in there yet. So I got to walk around in there, and she said, well, his lease is up, and, he was doing month by month. It's up in like 2 days. And so I said, well, I need to get a key. And she said, well, you can only get a key if you're willing to pay for the next month's rent. So I was like, all right, well, there goes $1,300 to do that. And then a few days later, the power went off. So, of course, then we needed to keep going in and out. And I didn't want to shut everything down because what if he's literally out of town and he doesn't have a phone, and I didn't want him to come home. And, of course, we realized his truck was there. Just literally everything was there. And then we found his wallet, driver's license, keys to the truck. Just everything was there. We knew then something's wrong. So, yeah. And the police didn't want to do fingerprints of anything in the apartment because they said too many people had been in there. We said, we can give you names of everybody that's been in here that came in here and there was probably 5 people that went in there. And they're like, no, that's just too many people, and y'all have already been touching things.
Yeah. And I'm going to try very hard to watch my mouth, but I remember the first time you told me that the apartments made you pay for that next month. The audacity of them asking you to do that. When you sign a lease, I remember back when I was younger and doing apartments, they gave away, a month here free, a month there free.
Right.
What in the hell possessed them to think they needed to charge you a month's rent like you said, maybe he got in a car wreck and he was in the hospital somewhere and he'd be back in a week. Maybe flight got delayed because he flew out of town since you didn't know he was, doing all that. That I have to tell you, I've thought about making posts to say, don't go rent there.
Yeah.
Because if something happens to you, they're not going to care.
I remember you saying that, and you said you weren't going to call them out because maybe it was corporate policy, blah, blah, blah. But at the time, it was called Advenir. Is that right, Debbie?
I think it's something like that.
ADVINIR.
So the name has changed.
Yeah, it's something else now.
Oh.
It is.
But at the time, it was Advenir or something to that effect.
Well, we can call them out then, because if it was a corporate policy, it's a bad policy.
Absolutely no help whatsoever. Just like you mentioned, they give you whatever to get you in there, free rent for a month or 2 months, no deposit, blah, 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 whatever. But in our situation, they did absolutely nothing, no help whatsoever. And we're snotty in the process of it.
Yeah. That's what I was getting ready to say. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have all my stuff in front of me. Didn't they also make you take down the missing flyers?
No, they took them down. We had one of the girls that offered to sit there and have them printed, and she ran a bunch of them. And I'm not sure if she's on here. Her name is Haley. I believe you've been talking. I think you've talked to her probably.
I have.
Really sweet thing. But she put her time and effort into going all over the apartment, putting them in there and putting them in surrounding areas. And for somebody to tell us the following day, they were all taken down.
And yet you paid for a month's rent for an apartment that wasn't being used. And if they let you put up these missing flyers and the person is found, maybe they'll keep renting from you.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
I had to pay to get another key to his mailbox too, because I wanted to see if was there anything in the mail.
What? So, they charged you?
Yep.
JT, I'm gonna let you talk before I go to jail for saying curse words.
I've had a lot of experiences from Lisa. You're right, Lisa's from Wales, and she's tuning in.
Okay.
She's been following along with everybody else. She's lovely.
Hi, Lisa.
But I think everybody's feeling. I think everybody's feeling the same way right now. It's wrong. It's horrible. It's unbelievable. Boycott them. Worthless place to rent from. You know what? Never even heard of it, but I'm going to agree because, should I put up this comment that says what it's called now?
Absolutely.
Oh, Stone Ridge.
It's called
Stone Ridge on Beltway 8. Yep, that is it. Now, now that I know the name has changed, that I'm thinking they may have changed ownership. But of course we know I'm going to either look into that or I'm going to have somebody else do it. Because when I went, I guess it's been a couple of months now, and I went by and was trying to knock on doors, they did have somebody ask me to stop soliciting. And when I told them I wasn't soliciting, that I was trying to talk to people to see if they knew the person who went missing. And they reminded me that it was private property. And I did what I do often, I just rubbed my eyes with a special finger and got in my car and figured I can find these people online just as easy. But yeah, nobody needs to live there. And I'm sorry, they can come at me if they want. I can send them my address. It's online. If you go to our page, True Crime and Wine Time, it has our postal address. Mail me a letter and tell me to shut up. I'd love to read it.
But you have to subscribe first.
Oh, no, our website, they don't even have to subscribe. They can just get our address. Because, I do need some kindling to help start my fire now that it's cooled off and our burn ban's lifted.
Yay.
So, I have to ask, Debbie, did you not want to just go off on them when they told you not only did you have to pay rent, but you had to pay for a key? How did you not?
I did, but at the same time, I just did not want to lose his apartment. at all. So I mean, because again, I didn't know if he was just out there or what's going on. Oh, hey, Garland.
What's up, Garland?
Garland, I mean, just not to interrupt, but Garland was one that really got a guy involved in a search right away. So within, I think, a day or two, he sat there and helped get us somebody to conduct
Was
a
that
search.
Spiros.
Spiros?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
Debbie, the other
Texas
connection,
Off-Road Chat.
I
Sorry.
found out my nephew helped do that first search.
Oh.
He went with Sparrow. I just found that out last week.
Oh,
And like I said, there's just so many of these little connections that keep happening. I don't know if people are spiritual, religious, if you think there's something above whatever you believe in, there is something that just keeps connecting and telling me that we did the right thing in wanting to do this.
Yeah.
And those apartments are just horrible people.
It was just a calling, I guess. It brought us all together. But I was upset. But I mean, like I said, it was just a start of everything. And I was just hoping things weren't going to turn out like this, thinking, oh, he's going to be gone for a couple weeks or he's going to be gone for 3 weeks. You just don't think about it being 6.5 years later and you're still in this mess.
Yeah. JT, I'll let you.
Yeah, you had mentioned kind of going into Chase's apartment. Was there anything that you noticed was out of place, different, missing? Had you been before and had an idea of what might have been missing or out of place?
If I had been in there right after he moved in, and I don't believe any of the girls had gone, I think a couple of his friends had gone. I mean, whenever we were emptying it out, I mean, it's like clothes were there, all of his shoes were there. I mean, Craig and I were the ones that packed everything up. So packed it up, threw it away, gave it away, or whatever. Because I mean, this was, what did I do? Pay for 2 months rent, 3 months rent?
Whatever it was, I know you.
We let it go for a while.
People had mentioned wanting to, buy some of the furniture and stuff, and I told Debbie, I said, sell whatever you can sell. He owes you money. Get it, whatever you can get. I'm fine with it. I said, I don't want any of it. I don't need any of it. So if you can sell it, recoup some of your money that you've put out on this. I said, it's all yours. Go for it. And back when all this started, I believe it was Heather texted me, says, have you heard from Chase? And I said, no. And so that's when I started calling and texting, because I didn't talk to him on a daily basis or maybe even a weekly basis. He would come over to the house to see the younger siblings, and his phone would be blowing up. And I was like, damn, everybody's wanting to get a hold of you, because like you said, I mean, he was a good looking kid. And I was like, get it, boy, do it now while you can, because it ain't gonna last forever. But
Okay, I thought the same thing when you said his phone was blowing up. I'm like, as a mom, I'd have been proud. I'd have been like, dang, them girls love him.
See, I told you we were cut from the same cloth. But and he would come over and spend a few hours with the kids. And I wished I would have known you were going to do that video montage of the pictures, because I had one where he's laying in my kitchen floor up against the cabinets, and Camden's dressing him up or whatever. I mean, it is the cutest picture, and I'll send it to you. But
please,
I mean, it was just, like I said, whenever we found out that we were pregnant, my current wife, Shelly, asked him, she goes, what do you want, a baby, a boy or a girl? And he says, I hope it's a boy. And she asked him, she said, why do you hope it's a boy? He said, I've got sisters. I've never had a brother before. And I mean, it just, oh man, it just hit me. And it was a boy. And like I said, he looks up to him like he hung the moon. I mean, just
And for
loved
those
him to no end.
haven't maybe seen it, I did share the video of him talking at the one event that y'all had where he's talking about his brother and the pizza. So if you haven't seen it on the Facebook page, you can go and look. Sorry.
No, I understand. Like I said,
If you would have been
I'm
there,
tearing up.
everybody was crying there that night.
But the thing that kills me with that video was when Seth said, and then I threw up, and that always gets me.
But hey, he ate something like 2.25 or something, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he's
I mean,
Mr.
that's a lot
Precise.
of pizza.
Yeah. So he was, uh, what, like 7 at the time?
Chase
We
has
did
been
that
gone for
video?
6.5 years almost.
Okay, 10.
Yeah.
Because he's fixing to turn 16, so.
Oh, God.
Now, when y'all started asking people about Chase missing, like Brandon and them and Erica, went into the apartment, what was that like? And what were you hearing? Were people offering to help? Look for him, give you information?
I mean, I
As
think,
far as
go ahead.
the offering to help, like Debbie said, Garland knew this guy Spiros, and he's got a long last name that I cannot pronounce. And I'm sorry, Spiros, if you happen to be listening, but I've never been able to pronounce your name, and I don't want to butcher it on this live video. So, Spiros I can pronounce, and I know how to say that. So everybody that knows you knows who I'm talking about. But he said, I can get X number of people together, and we can go look tomorrow. I'll have them
Four-wheelers and
there.
everything.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, he came through, and we searched all the Greenbelt area around his apartments, and it was just phenomenal. Like I said, everybody has just been unbelievable with them. Like I said, starting this video, the amount of people that have sent us messages and responded on his Chase Allen Lackey's missing page. Um, just the sheer volume of people just blows my mind. I have tried my best to answer every message possible. And since y'all have taken over this case and have drummed up so much interest in it and found out so much stuff for us, it's literally gotten overwhelming. And I've just had to start going in there and, hearting all the posts for the
That's what
prayers
I
and
do.
stuff because it's
It's
yeah,
hard, guys. I mean, I
yeah,
have to
it's
tell you, it's overwhelming. I was talking to JT yesterday. I'm like, we might need to ramp it up because there's a lot that we haven't responded to. We normally I like to go and do that too, but the response has just been overwhelming. Just overwhelming.
I mean, and you've seen, people commenting all the time, I don't know Chase, I've never met him, I don't know y'all, but this just really, touches me, and I'm so sorry you're going through this. And like I said, I've gone in a time or two and just made a post, for everybody's responding or with an emoji or what have you. I said, if you're so inclined and this, this situation moves you, scroll over to the right just a little bit and hit that share button, and get it out there on your feed and, try to spread it even wider than it has. And I know Kenneth Mungle, which I think you saw his post, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was friends with Chase before I was friends with Kenny. And I didn't find that out until just recently. Just the other day, I was talking to Kenny. But like I said, they were basically Facebook friends and they were chatting back and forth. I had no idea. whenever I met Kenny, it was through another mutual friend that Kenny and I had, and he, offered up the 10K to,
Mhm.
and just, blew my mind. I mean, like I said, everybody that met him loved him, pure and simple. Like I said, he was
That's
had
definitely the
a, in
feeling
him.
that I'm getting. Also, sorry, I didn't mean to
Eh,
cut you off.
no, it's fine. He uh, he just had an infectious personality that that people gravitated towards him, and to hear those thugs saying, "Oh, we weren't that close," and this, that, and the other. I just
Well, don't go there yet. We're not ready for that.
okay. I know.
We're gonna get into the little POSs, and that's
Thank
what I
you.
have named them: ass hat and POS. So
Absolutely.
I'm not going to tell you which one's which, but I'll let JT go on and keep going. But I'm going to just
Well,
say I've given them names.
Well, and I am interested in this, and Debbie, you brought it up in terms of what at this point it sounds like what the police didn't do. But my question in terms of like fingerprints and things, but when they were informed, and maybe in the subsequent like weeks, what did they do? To try and find Chase.
well, we gave them the name just like we did Terry, and I believe they went around and said they were talking to a few people. I mean, Craig was more talking to them than myself. I mean, Craig was relaying that information to me, so I guess I should let Craig really take over on that as far as what all they did.
I
Or
would like
didn't
to know
do.
that as I would like to know that as well. To be quite
Yeah.
honest,
Well, let
every
me
time
tell you.
every time we had a meeting with them,
They had
we would
nothing.
ask questions. They said, "Well, it's an ongoing investigation, and we can't disclose that." Then why are we here? And that was their standard pat response every time we asked a question. Am I wrong,
Sorry,
Debbie?
guys. I think she's
No, you're not
laughing at
wrong.
my.
She's got something
Uh,
in her eyes.
I got something in my eye. Well, I can
I think
just
I
tell
think you
you.
missed a spot.
Yeah, 79 pages is not enough documentation in my book for somebody who's been missing 6 years. And I won't get on my soapbox about that yet, but it's coming. I'll let JT keep asking questions before I bring out my soapbox, and I'll try to keep my fingers in check because Harris County needs to step up their game.
Well, I was very patient with him for a very, very, very long time. And finally, I said, "This is BS. I've had enough." And emailed the sheriff, you know, and I was like, "We need to know something. What are y'all doing? What's happening? This, that, and the other." And like I said, they have undeniably hard job. I get that. That's why I was patient for so long. They have a huge area to cover. They've got literally thousands of missing people from this in this area that they have to cover. And, it's a daunting task. I get it.
But
But
be
for
honest
them,
and say that. That's my whole
but
thing. Just be honest.
Hmm.
well, give us something. Like I said, every
Exactly.
time Debbie and I ask a question, well, it's an ongoing investigation. We can't disclose that. And that was all they were giving us. They weren't telling us who they were talking to or, anything. And it just got to be a point of being ridiculous. So,
Yeah,
like I
that's
said,
and that's one of the things. Like I would obviously be a terrible, detective, because if you all had called me, I would be much along the lines of, here's what we're doing so far. This is kind of who we might have been talking to, and I would probably I'd apparently get in trouble, because the stock answer of this is an ongoing investigation just doesn't
Hmm.
work for me. Because it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you what they're doing. Even if they were like, yes, we've done these things, we spent this much time talking to these people or looking into, that's something. Like, don't just give that answer that we all hear on Netflix, which is like, this is ongoing. We can't tell you. I'm like, what do you mean you can't tell them? That's the family. So
I'm the principal. I'm one of the principals here. You can tell me something.
right.
Now, and
Right.
I get that they don't want to jeopardize a case and potentially having to go to court if something happens. But just like, I'll be honest, I was interviewing someone yesterday for this case, and that person said, "So who else have you talked to?" Well, here was my response. I've talked to several of his family members. I've talked to a couple of male friends, a couple of female friends, some exes, some coworkers, and I found out a lot of great information. The police could do the same damn thing. Excuse my French, but they don't have to compromise a case, but they can still tell you, I've talked to 4 people in this category, 2 people in this category, trying to talk to this person, they won't respond. And that's the part that just gets my goat. You don't need to give a patent answer. It's an ongoing investigation. We don't want to jeopardize the case. You can give information without giving critical details.
Absolutely.
One of the struggles I've had in this case is there's been information that we've had come in on tip lines and things that I can't immediately share, or that we need to look into to see if it's a rumor or if it's a fact. But that doesn't mean I tell you guys nothing. I just don't get why they do that. And one day I hope to get those questions answered, because they're on a list of questions I'm going to ask someday if I ever get the chance. But I'm just floored. Now, I do want to ask, because we've
Excuse me just one sec. I saw that comment pop up from Melissa. Melissa, true crime and wine time has been heaven sent, to put it mildly. They are awesome. You have no idea what a blessing they've been to us. Trust me. Okay, now I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terry.
I'm just going to say, I've never had the words heaven sent used with me before, because I'm usually the one that pisses people off and stirs the pot, and more like the devil in the crown. So being heaven sent, I will take that. That is 2 comments I've had in the last week. Last weekend, I got called arm candy for HH. And now being heaven sent, I'm like, my mama is proud this week.
You're
my
living
mama
on a cloud
be
right now,
proud.
ain't you, gal?
I'm like, dang, this has been a good week.
Are you a Charleston Chew or a Crunch Bar? That's what I want to know.
Hey, I'm a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Stop it now. You're making me blush, Terry.
So I know we've kind of beat around the bush a little bit, but I want to ask, and I'll ask you, Debbie, because I think you were the one who got the phone call first from your daughter. What was your reaction when you found out about what was found in Chase's apartment and what was found in his apartment?
Well, when she called me, and of course they've never been around it. Of course, I'm going to say I've been around it when I was growing up. Not growing up, but after high school. And so I know what. So anyway, she just made it sound like his whole apartment was full of weed, and I went over there and I said, "Is this all you?" Because, well, she sent me a picture and I said, "Is that all that is there?" And I said, "Heather, he wouldn't even be arrested on the road if he had that on him." So
it was at the ball of moss. The ball of moss stuff in the picture.
It's probably like 1.5 inches long, 2 inches long. And she goes, "Well, I don't know what a lot is." And I said, "Well, it's not a lot of weed, There was a $100 bill laying on the coffee table. Like I said, we left everything there. And one of my text messages to him was, "Hey, we've been in your apartment, so don't be alarmed. We tried to leave everything where it was, and we think we know everything that's going on. So just call us." And still, I've never heard anything else from him whatsoever.
Were you
I received another
surprised?
text,
Were you surprised about the money counter and finding out that he was more involved than just recreational? He didn't just have a little bit of small pot that he was smoking. Were you shocked to find that out?
I
Oh, without
was.
question.
I was, because again, I thought he was still doing iron work, but whenever they told me no, he hadn't been working since January. But of course, he's always told me, that everything that Addison had and this and that, and how he just, gloated over everything Addison had, this big house and Range Rovers and this and that. And I'm like, son, I said, he's doing other stuff, he's just doing stuff. So that's not the way to do it. I said, you need to see. So whenever I heard he wasn't working, which that was in July, right when this all happened, that he hadn't been working, I wasn't surprised that was the route he took. Especially then we found out later that he couldn't do ironwork anymore, and ironwork was just his passion. He loved it. And he's a thrill seeker. Like I said, that was just, he was a thrill seeker. Chase did everything and he did it 110%. He wanted to get the biggest thrill out of everything, and that's just who he was.
Now, I'm sure y'all know this, but I don't remember which one of his friends was talking to about him posting on social media, breaking the rules of not tying off because he liked the adrenaline. He, was an adrenaline junkie.
He was. He was.
And I remember I told that person, I was like, he may have been an adrenaline junkie, but he didn't think to the next step that might get you fired. It might get you in some trouble.
And he was. And not just fired, but he was basically blacklisted that, he was not going to get another ironworking job in Houston area, period. He was basically blackballed. And, you see all these idiots. I say idiots. You see all this younger generation posting stuff on social media, and so-and-so was arrested today because of a video he posted of pulling guns out, and this, that, and it's like, why would you post that? That's just beyond stupid, but
it's a younger
the age
generation
we're living in now. Yep. Absolutely.
But like I said, y'all were surprised.
Without a doubt.
That he got that involved in it. It sounds like.
When my daughter sent me the picture that she had taken, and she says, "Don't be upset." I'm like, "Okay, this ain't gonna be good." But she sent me the picture, and that's when I went over there, and when I saw the money counter, I was like, I won't say I made my peace with it because I haven't, in all honesty, but I was so incredibly pissed off that this is what he was doing. And he was moving apparently large amounts of this stuff. And you don't need a money counter for, selling dime bags and that kind of stuff. He was moving pounds of it. And I said, the minute I stepped foot in that apartment and I saw those things, I said, I'm never going to see him again. Plain and simple. And everybody says, well, how are you dealing with this? I said, probably I deal with it being pissed off about it. I'm so incredibly pissed off at him because he had come to me one time wanting to borrow some money because he supposedly had gotten robbed at gunpoint, and he owed somebody X number of dollars, him and another guy, and they had to each come up with half of the money that, they were robbed of. And I said, let me talk to Shelly and I'll get back with you. Talked to Shelly about it, and she said, yeah, let's, help him out. So we did. And I said, we're going to loan you this money to get you out of this jackpot that you're in right now. But I said, you will pay it back. And like I said, I'd been to his apartment several times, and I knew what he had of value. I said, you're going to bring me this, this, and this. And when you pay us money back, you'll get these things back. I said,
so you took collateral.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I said, when you get these back, I said, when you pay us some money back, you'll get these items back. And I said, you miss a payment? I said, it's due. I said, don't make the payment where it's going to put you in a bind. I don't want you in a bind. But whatever amount you think you can afford, that's what the payment's going to be. We agreed on it. And he brought me the things. Once he did, we gave him the money. And 1 month he paid double what he was supposed to. And I didn't hear from him the next month. So I called him. I said, you coming over tonight? For what? I said, you got a payment due. He was like, I paid you double last month. I said, yeah, you did. That means you owe 1 month less now than what you did before. But I said, that payment is still due for this month. Well, I didn't know that. I said, well, now you do. So am I going to the pawn shop and getting rid of this stuff to get my money, or you coming over with the payment? No, I'll bring you the payment. And he did. And he didn't pay extra anymore after that, but he did pay everything back, and we got the money back, and that was the end of it. That was another reason why whenever I went over the apartment with Debbie, she said, well, he owes me X number of dollars. And I said, he didn't owe me anything. So whatever you can get out of all this stuff in this apartment, it's yours. Take it.
Well,
Sell
and that's
it.
what.
Do whatever you can with it.
When you just said you took collateral, because I knew you had done all of the agreement, I know about the collateral. I'm sitting here thinking, God, HH is watching this and moderating, and he's going, damn, why won't my wife do that? Because Debbie, I don't know about you, but my mama's boy, I mean, I'm a little softy, okay? And my youngest, we'll just say he owes us a lot of money. And never again will we loan him money. But I never thought about collateral, Debbie, and I'm thinking you didn't either. I think it's just the moms in us, right?
Yeah, when he said he needed something, and I would always sit there and help him out. And finally one day I was like, son, start saving money. He goes, well, why don't you just let me learn on my own? And I said, you know what? That's all you had to say. Now you're on your own. And that I got a little guilt on me, because whenever he would usually be between jobs is when he would ask me for money. And so, of course, hearing that he lost that job, of course, it makes me wonder, had I not said that to him, would he have came to me and asked me for money and not done this step? But I know it wasn't a decision I made, so it was a decision he made.
And he, as a mom, I mean, he made decisions because, yes, he could have asked you for a short-term thing. He was thinking long-term, and he was seeing the lifestyle that Asshat was living, and Asshat sold him a bill of goods. Let's just be honest, he did.
Absolutely.
And so you could have helped him out in the short term. So please do not feel bad, because he still probably would have done it because of that.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie.
Aw.
Stephanie was a good friend of his, and I'm a Facebook friend of hers now, and so she's always sending me hearts and saying she's praying for us, and just a sweetheart.
Yeah. JT, you want to ask the next questions before I get into Asshat and POS?
Sure. This is always, I say this is always as if I've asked this before, but I really haven't, so forgive me. And maybe we'll ask one at a time. Debbie, this is harder than I thought it was. Sorry, Terry.
Just blurt it out, Brewmeister.
I'm gonna blurt it out. Do you believe that Chase is alive?
I do. I honestly do. I just think he's staying away for his own safety, maybe. And I just don't have that gut-wrenching feeling, because everybody, the investigator, the first thing they asked me is, his mom, how do you feel in your gut? I said, y'all, I guess just a lack of talking to him was the part that got me stirred up about everything. But I never had that gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach, and I still don't. But of course, now that the stuff that came up with Matt's grandparents and all of that stuff, that's starting to worry me and scare me, thinking that maybe something has happened. But until I have a body, I've just refused to believe it. I want to keep thinking positive until somebody can give me remains. This is just what, if I have to live the rest of my life like this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And obviously this is not, I don't really know, and this is not to pin both of you against each other, but I figured I'd ask one at a time. And so Craig, same question.
She and I have had this conversation on more than one occasion. And she's like, how can you think like that? And my response to her is, how can you not? You were pretty much in constant contact with him, I'll say. And, he'd come over periodically and visit the kids, and I'd go to his apartment periodically and, visit with him. But he always kept in touch with some member of the family at some point in time. And to go 6.5 years, that's not him. Like I said, the person that he turned into is not the son that I know or the son that I raised. And like I said, I don't know that person. He's changed. He's got into this stuff. He knew how much I was against it. And in my gut, yeah, like I said, I stand by the comment I made when I walked in that apartment. I was never going to see him again. From the investigators that did talk to us and, told us tidbits of information, it was a big time operation, and he got in over his head, and he was stepping on somebody's toes in another area or something, and somebody took him out.
Now, and I know I've said this to you guys when we've talked before. You said that Chase wasn't the same person. Everybody I have talked to, they said he was still the same guy. He was just making some really bad decisions. And the people that I've talked to, we've talked about the one way that he would make the active decision to go missing would be to protect you guys. And that would be a reason for him to do it, because he loved you guys that much. So I think when we say he changed and he became somebody we didn't know, everybody, his friends that I've talked to, they're like, he was still the same guy. He was just making some really stupid decisions. And one person said to me last week, and he felt guilty for the stupid decisions he was making. And they do think it was bothering him.
Oh, I think so,
maybe it's because I'm a softy mom, that tells me he still had a conscience about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't maybe happy with himself for some of those decisions he was making. And I think he was sold that it was going to be easier and safer than it was. And I think he found out by getting robbed and other things that it wasn't quite as glamorous and as easy as it looked.
Right.
And I do want to say we're going to go ahead and talk about Matt, because I got no loyalty to you, Mr. POS, because that is your nickname, Matt Brewer. It's POS. And Addison, your ass hat. So it goes together. And like you said, the thing, not saying they're involved, not saying they did anything. I think they know something. The thing that pisses me off about both of them is that they were good friends, and I've read those police reports, and both of them little lied and said, oh, he wasn't that good of a friend to me. And I want to look at asshat and say, well, then why in the hell was he in your wedding party, sir? If he wasn't that good of a friend.
But then
And
they
Matt,
both
if he
tell
wasn't,
me that he was their best friend.
exactly. And then I want to tell Matt, same damn thing, sir. You said, oh, I hadn't talked to him in days. Bullshit. You were with him the weekend he went missing. Your phone proves it. So that's the problem I have with them. And the problem I have is they won't talk to us. And they say, oh, well, we talked to the police. Yeah, and you lied to them. Read the reports. You lied, and they know you lied, guys. And it's in the reports. They know you lied. So throwing it out there. You might want to come clean. So I know JT's going to ask some more questions, but I just wanted to put that out there. We know they lied. They said they were friends, but then which we all do. If you are getting cornered or you're asked questions and you're guilty, what do? It's called the crawfish crawl. Yeah. You start backing away. Oh, I didn't know him that well. No, not that well. Well, you can't do that and say you're this guy's best friend and then do nothing, because that's not a friend. And to me, it says they were never friends.
And my thing is them saying that, and I know that they were good friends of his. If you don't want to say anything, just call the tip line and tell us where his body is if he is gone. That's all I ask. That's all you got to do. Like I said,
exactly.
All of this all we want is Chase one way or another, either alive or bring him back to us.
And they can. I mean, as y'all know, we've had people call the tip line anonymously and say, stop looking, stop getting involved in this. And that number can't be tracked because they're burner phones. So we know these two people have burner phones. Yeah. They admitted they had burner phones. So use one of them, make a call, and then get rid of it. Go get a different phone. So JT, I'll stop interrupting and let you ask some more questions, because I know we've been at this a while and we do want to start wrapping up here in a little bit. So JT, I will let you.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever I see somebody ask this question of anyone, it seems to catch them a little off guard. I have a feeling that you all will have plenty to say in terms of this, but I mean, we want to make sure that we give you kind of the floor, to tell Chase or anyone who knows anything, whatever you wish to. So really kind of to start, what would you like to say to those that either caused Chase's disappearance or anyone who knows about it who's yet to come forward?
Craig, you want to go first? You want me to?
Debbie, why don't we let you go first? I'm going to say Mom goes first.
Go ahead.
I know he was making bad decisions. That nobody doesn't give you a right to take somebody's child. And I'm sure by now you've got a child. And I hope and pray that no one does this to your child, because you get to live the pain that we're living, and we may live for the rest of our life. You can bring us closure. You truly could. And I believe in karma. I'm a firm believer of karma. And your day is coming. Your day is coming.
Yeah. And they both have children.
Well, like I think Debbie summed it up best. I've said in numerous times, I wouldn't wish this nightmare on anybody. But the people that know what happened to him and is not coming forward with any information and prolonging this agony for us, I'm not going to be as forgiving as Chase's mother, but I don't wish this on you. But like she said, karma comes back, and I can't wait for that day.
And you got to remember, there's good karma and bad karma. And by stepping up and doing the right thing, just imagine what kind of role model you are for your child. To say, you know what? I did some stupid stuff. I made some bad decisions and I kept a lot of secrets. But you know what? I made the decision. I didn't want to be that person anymore. I wanted to do the right thing and tell.
And you know what? I know we're not here to judge anybody, but all of them are going to face their judgment day. They're going to face it one day.
Yep. And their children, unfortunately, however this comes out or comes out in the wash, if their parents don't step up and do the right thing and they do the hard way, it's going to be even worse for their kids because their kids are going to have to live with it. I try to always put myself in the other person's shoes. And I think if my parent made a bad decision and knew information and they were too scared to tell, and then it come out later that they hid it, that makes them obstructing justice. And that makes them an accomplice, if they don't tell. I would much more respect my parent who stepped up and said, you know what? I need to be a better person. I need to do the right thing. I would still go visit my father in jail. I would still want her life. But if the cops have to come knock on your door and you didn't, I'm probably not going to come visit you. But I do have to say that I think the fact that you don't wish this to happen to them, you do want karma to happen, says a lot about what kind of people you are, because a lot of other people would say an eye for an eye. And I do respect that you don't want anyone to feel the pain that you guys are living with every day.
Not at all.
And that was a hard-hitting question. To kind of wrap it up, and because truly, I don't want to speak for Terry, but I think I'm safe in speaking for Terry. We want answers and we want a conclusion to this. Just, so what can everybody who's watching right now do to help? What can we do? What can we do for you to support you and to help in everything?
Hit the share button on whatever post, video, or whatever that they see about this case. Please hit the share button.
I'd say the prayers, keep the prayers coming. I mean, you always got to keep that coming. And just keep asking people. I mean, there's going to be people when you're talking about it going to say, hey, I heard about it, when you're physically talking, because some people aren't going to put things on Facebook or on anything. They're going to sit there and just ask people questions. Go, hey, I've heard about this. They're going to go, hey, yeah, I heard somebody at this party talking about it. And hey, well, who are they? I mean, maybe I can get with them. And it's just about asking. And like Craig has said, so many people want to sit there and think about not saying anything to us. And talking about it makes us feel like you're at least keeping, for me, that he still exists and he's still there. And you, because I mean, I can sit here and talk all day about stories about him, but if you want to start talking to me about his passing or you think he's dead, or I'll just close up because it's not what I want to believe. So that's just me.
You gotta have hope. You gotta have
hope. The only way I'm existing is staying positive. I just have to till somebody gives me something, then I will properly grieve, which I get upset all the time, without a doubt. I get upset because I want to start thinking to the dark side. And I'm just like, no, I'm not going there.
Yeah. So. And the other thing I want to say on that tip line, I told somebody this today on a Facebook post. I reached out to them because they said they had heard rumors. Call us with the rumors. I get that they're rumors, but we are finding out there are some facts in some of these rumors. Yep. So, and if you want to do it anonymous, you can text it and you can hide your number, *67. If you don't want your number to come across, tell us the rumors. You can email me, Terry at True Crime and Wine Time, or you can email JT at True Crime and Wine Time. Tell us the rumors. Let our team go and do that research and prove that it's just a BS rumor. Because you know what, guys? When there's smoke, sometimes there is fire. It's not a smoke machine. It's not a smoke machine.
And
Don't think that you're going to waste our time by going look at rumors. Because you know what? What if it's not a rumor? What if that small, itty bitty chance it's factual? Or it leads to the next thing. So when I tell people nothing is too small, I seriously mean it. You're not going to waste any of our time. I would rather spend our time researching rumors than sitting here beating our head against the wall trying to get the cops to do something. I mean, is there anything else you guys would like to say before we wrap up?
We can't thank y'all enough for, like you said, y'all are a blessing. I mean, this has been a really emotional time the last 2 to 3 months because of everything y'all are bringing out, but we know it needs to be brought. I know it needs to be brought out. So we cannot thank y'all enough. Cannot.
I'll be honest, and I know I speak for J2 too. We are just blessed that we're able to do this and that we're having success, because we really didn't think we would get things moving this fast. We really didn't. And it's because of all of the people on the pages sharing it. It's truly not us. It's everybody that is hitting that share button, commenting, sending us messages. Hey, I don't know, Chase, but I heard this.
Yeah.
That's why we're having so much happen so fast, is because people are doing that. I wish we could take all the credit, but we can't. It's because people are saying, I'm going to go ahead and tell this.
Well, y'all gave a shit enough to take on this case, and like I said, I've been just amazed at, like I said, all the comments and all the prayers, all the likes, all the loves, all the shares, the caring. Like I said, we need closure, plain and simple. Good, bad, whatever the situation is, we just need closure. And like I said,
I think that's what people need to know. Y'all just want answers, right? You want to know where he is. You can worry about the other stuff later, right? You just want to not go to bed every night not knowing, right?
Yep. That's true. So true. Like, I've made several posts. Somebody somewhere knows something, and we just need to find that person that is tired of the guilt, tired of the lying, the secret they're hiding. And like I said the other day on a post, it's like a cancer that's just eating at you constantly. Come clean with the truth. Let us know what happened to him, where it happened, possibly search the area and find some remains so that we can put him to rest. And, once you get that off your conscience, food's going to taste better, your sleep's going to be more restful, your tea's going to be sweeter, and it's all possible. Just let us know what happened to our son, where he's at, so that, we can have closure and peace, and in turn, you can have peace.
And we'll need to have the remains tested. We'll make sure and confirm it is him.
Oh, absolutely.
So don't hope somebody can just throw us a bag of bones, and because we will get them tested.
Absolutely.
I can't think of overall a better way to end all of this with that. And so what I want to do is, to kind of close out, I want to Terry, if you're okay with it, just toss in that video that we put together, and then hop right on into the outro, and then call it a night. What do you think?
Sounds great. Do you have that video? Because I don't have access.
I do. It's right here. I can hit it.
That's why you're the man.
Well, listen,
Hit
thank
it,
you
JT.
I truly, and everybody, I feel comfortable in speaking for every single person who's tuned in. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that this brings more. As Craig and Debbie have said, share this, because the more you have no idea the tree of how far this can go. If just 10 people share, that's an exponential amount of attention. So use social media for good. We've seen the bad. Use it for good. And share this and everything. Join the group online and share that as well. There's a lot to be done. I'm going to leave the number up on the screen as we play those 2 videos, and we'll call it a night for tonight. However, the investigation continues on.
So you're saying this is an ongoing investigation? Is that what I'm hearing?
Terry's still got a lot of people to piss
Except
off.
Terry
guys.
has answers. That's the difference. Terry has answers.
Terry's still got a lot of people she needs to piss off. So there's one thing that anybody
Piss
who
away,
knows
baby.
me, I got a big mouth and I know how to use it, whether you like it or not. And I think everybody needs to realize that telling me to stop isn't going to do anything but make me do it harder, and not getting answers is just going to make me try that much harder. It may take us another 6 years, but I can tell you, unless I drop dead tomorrow, I'm not going anywhere. But I am comfortable knowing the True Crime and Wine Time team and everybody watching this and who sees this, somebody is going to keep it going. Because if not, I will come back and haunt them. And you don't want me coming in your bedroom at night haunting you. Just going to leave it there. Hit the video, sir.
I'll ask Double H later.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you both for joining us tonight.
Yes.
And Terry, would you like
Thanks
to close
for
it out
having
how
us.
we always do?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
As I like to say, and especially it means more tonight than ever, stay safe. Watch out for crime. And I'm going to add, watch out for people that you think are your friends. Make sure they're really your friends. And definitely enjoy your wine time, because after tonight, we all deserve a couple of glasses.
And don't
Good night,
forget
folks.
to take care of yourself.
Yes, please take
care of yourself,
yourselves.
your friends, your family. Don't forget to smile. And doggone it, shine on, you crazy diamonds. We will see you next time. And thank you for watching this upcoming video and the closing. See ya.